So you've been there, done that, right? All your different container sizes, 1 gallon, 3 gallon, 5 gallon, maybe even 10 gallon, 20 gallon, 30 gallon, and I'm even looking at ordering 40 gallons for my giant pepper grow this year. But now you're ready to step up to container gardening and everything's about to change and you're asking yourself, what's the best way to go? My preferred method is the horse trough. But there's some prep that you got to do with the horse trough to get it ready before you can put your soil in it and get growing. So stick with me today and I'm going to walk you through how I get a horse trough ready and why I think it's the best method for raised bed gardening for you. The first thing that we probably have to discuss is raised bed gardening takes a lot of soil. So these horse troughs are almost just an inch shy of 2 feet deep. So you've got to find the material, you've got to be able to afford the material to fill this horse trough. And you're right, it could get expensive, but I'm going to show you the way I do it, so stick with me. Just for reference, and so you know, these are right about 2 feet wide. 2 feet tall, 2 feet wide, and just about 6 foot long. Now the other thing we got to talk about is the cost of these things. I buy these at Home Depot for 179 bucks. To me, they're the best ones out there at the best price. This just happens to be the one that was my chicken brooder in the chicken video from when I hatched the eggs. My whole plan behind that was buy one of these, use it as a chicken brooder for 2 months till the chicks who are behind you are old enough to go out in their big pen or in their big chicken coop. And then I can turn around and use this as another raised bed. These raised beds work great for me, but there's some prep that you need to put into them to make sure that they're going to work for you. These have solid bottoms. They're not like some of the ones that you buy, the kits that you put together. And so you've got to allow some drainage in this thing, and just pulling, even though there's a back drain plug here for when it's being used as a horse trough, doesn't mean that it's good enough to drain for your soil. It's not. So I'm going to show you how I prep this thing, then we're going to get it over there, we're going to mix the soil, and then we're going to fill this and get it ready because I've got peas that need to go in this backside long before any of my hot weather plants need to go in. Now you might be thinking that it takes a lot to get one of these ready and you may not have it, but chances are laying around the house you've got all you need. Of course, you've already seen we need a measuring tape. You're going to need some kind of a straight edge. I don't care if it's a piece of 2x4, just something straight if you're OCD like I am. Of course, you're going to need drill bits. Now, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit. You can use whichever one you want. You can go much bigger, you can go much smaller. But the smaller you go, the more holes you're going to need. Remember, you need that water to drain out of here. Now, something I have noticed since having these, I've had them for years, worms, bugs, all that good stuff that's in your actual yard, if you're putting it on the grass, make it through these drain holes and up into the soil. I can't believe how many worms I come across that are in my raised beds, and I use a 1/4 inch drill bit. Now I do put a lot of holes, but every year there's more and more worms. So think about that when you're setting this up. And then any excuse to use power tools. I got your attention, didn't I? Yes, I use a lot of Ryobi tools. Nothing in my videos is sponsored. I will try not to bore you to death with this. I'll give you the gist of it, kind of show you, but I'm not going to make you sit around forever and watch this stuff. So 22.5 inches, I'm just going to say 22. You could do 2 lines if you want. You could do 3, you could do 4. That's completely up to you. But we know at 22 that 11 is going to be about the middle. So I'm just going to mark 2 at 11. And they don't have to be perfect. Then from 11 to 22, take a halfway point. 16 and 6. Same thing down here, 16 and 6. Like I said, it is completely up to you on how you want to do this part. Then take your straight edge, just because it'll drive me nuts knowing that it's under there. If I didn't do the straight edge, it may not show up on the camera too well, but I can see it. So draw your 3 lines that you need. Then we're just going to line it up, make a nice straight line. And you're going to want to put some up in here too. We're 68 inches long. I'm going to make a couple marks at 34 so I know where the center is. Now from there, however many holes you want to put in. I think I'm going to do about every 5 inches. That's what I do. I'll get these marked and we'll come back for drilling. Okay, we got everything laid out here. Got all of our marks where we're going to do it, and then just start and drill your holes. And just like that, you've got your drainage holes set in here. Now, like I said, you can go bigger, you can go smaller, you can do more holes. Do what works for you. I've never had anything not work, and I've done a bunch of these. And that's all there is to it. Be careful with these little shavings. You definitely don't want a metal splinter. But then after that, we're just gonna flip this baby over. We'll take a look, make sure everything looks fine from the inside. We're gonna go get it in position over there, and let's get started on how we fill this thing up. It's as simple as that. We've got it flipped over. I just inspected everything, checked it out. We look good to go. We're gonna get it in position over there and get started on the not so fun part of how we fill this big thing up. I'll meet you over there. Now, some things to consider while you're getting things prepped for this bed. No matter what, I mean, I can level these things off with bricks and that kind of thing. Over the years, it's gonna sink, so don't focus too much on that. You can level your soil inside. 2, are your rows lined up? We talked about OCD. If your rows, if you have more than one and your rows aren't lined up, once you get all this soil in here, it's really hard to move. So take time and make sure it's where you want it, and it'll save you time in the long run. Now for filling this thing. I'm sure you've seen on a bunch of videos, if you've watched anything with raised bed gardening before, the hugelkultur method. They always say start off with big logs, that kind of thing, in the very bottom of it. Now, I don't have any big logs. I've got a big pile of branches back here that have dried out over the years. You can use any organic matter. It could be grass clippings, it can be leaves, it could be sticks, it can be logs. You name it, get it in the bottom of this and fill up as high as you really want to. Now, I do spend a little bit more money on mine, and I do the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 mix. Same 1/3 mix I talk about on here all the time. 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 compost, 1/3 perlite. Now, sometimes I go a little heavier on the compost, and it's not exact. It's kind of the pour it in there and get her done. Compost is going to be your big one. I know a lot of people out there have said that too much compost is a bad thing. I've never seen that. I use compost constantly. After this original fill, pretty much the only thing I add in here is every year I top it off with compost. There's a lot of soil in here. It acts just like your soil would in the ground. Over the years, it decomposes, it just gets more and more rich. All that stuff in the compost breaks down over the years, just like it would in the regular ground. So don't overthink this. I'm gonna throw a bunch of my pepper plants that I have dried out, that I pulled out of the garden from last year, in the bottom. I'm gonna throw sticks in there. Check this out. Oh, you really can't see him back there. If you heard it, I've got one rooster, and I really like him actually, but he's learning how to crow. You gonna do it again? There he goes. I pretty much think out of the 7 eggs I got 1 rooster and 6 hens, which is a great mix for me because I can hatch more eggs throughout the years. Okay, back to my mix. Funny story, and honestly, I'm a little bit upset about it, even though I'm laughing about it here with you. My son and I stopped at one of the big greenhouses here. We're having a really hard time finding the big bags of perlite that we can normally find. Home Depot, Lowe's, all those, they used to have those giant bags of, like, is it Vigo or however you say it. Now they're only carrying like the 8-quart ones. So I stopped at one of the local greenhouses to see, thinking, of course they're gonna have it. And there was a lady in there. Of course, they're just now getting opened up for the year. I understand, but you work at a greenhouse. You should know something. So I walked in and asked if they had any of the large perlite. I made a comment about how hard it is right now to find the big bags of perlite. Her response to me was, "You're not going to find them because of the tariffs." Here we go. If that were true, I'd be able to find it. I would just have to pay a little bit more. So she's like, "All we got are the little bags over there." Of course, I respond with, "I need the big bag." And she says, "What do you need the big bag for?" I said, "It's for my soil mix for my raised beds. 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 compost, 1/3 perlite." She looks right at me and says, "And what do you think you're going to grow in that?" "Everything." She proceeds to tell me that you can't grow in that that's not soil, and that I need to buy the bag soil that's out there. You work at a greenhouse. It makes me not want to be out in the community anymore. So be careful where you get advice from. I've been doing this for a lot of years. I've been doing this mix for 20 years. It produces very well. I don't care what these kids that are getting jobs in the greenhouse tell you. This works. Stick with me through the season and I'm going to show you how well it works. Filling these things takes some back-breaking labor, but just look at it this way. You only have to do it once. So let's start with grabbing a bunch of organic material that we're going to throw in here. Don't let anybody tell you you can't reuse soil or use it for more than 1 year. Take a look. All that nice soil that I had for my pepper plants last year in these big pots is still good. We're going to add a bunch of compost in. That'll give you an idea just how much room what one of the 15-gallon barrels take inside of one of these big tubs. These tubs are large, so I'm going to get a good base layer down before I start putting my organic material in. Okay, so at the end of every year, I let my plants dry out while they're in the pots, my big pepper plants. If you look, even my little ones, I showed you all the videos that I did on small containers. Keep it all, root ball, soil, everything. Toss it in there. But look how dry all your plants are. So instead of wasting all that, toss it right in the bed, cram it down, cover it up with more soil. Now, this video isn't intended to be all about hugelkultur. There's plenty of videos out there about hugelkultur. And as it turns out, I've still got about 20 of those giant barrel pots, or the giant barrel containers. So this particular bed's not really going to be hugelkultur, but I do want you to know that that's a good way to get rid of any yard waste, debris, things around. Hang on to it, throw it in the bottom, make your own compost. You might be able to see, I've even got one of the little barrels back there that spins that I make my own little compost in so I can make compost tea out of. If you can do a bigger compost pile, throw your own compost in there. You can buy compost for $3 to $5 a bag, however you want to fill it up. Now for the rest of filling this up, you can either do it the lasagna method, basically, where you pour in one bag, you pour in like peat moss, you go over it with compost, you pour in your perlite, you mix it up with your hands. You can mix it all up in the wheelbarrow, which is typically what I do. Except, I haven't had one of these horse troughs back here, and it's in the back part. Now, since I was such a genius, I can't pull the wheelbarrow right up to it and just dump the whole wheelbarrow in. So I'm going to have to scoop it. Whatever works for you, however works for you, the basic thing is fill this thing up. Now the very top, you definitely want, I would go 16-inch minimum, and it all depends on what plant you're putting in, of depth that you want for just straight soil. But anything you put in the bottom is going to break down over time, and it's just going to enrich that soil. I'll continue on and fill this, and then I'll show you what it's like when we're at the top. Something that I just thought was worth noting while we're at this point, I do use fertilizers. And I know there's a lot of controversy over different fertilizers. You know me, I like blood meal and bone meal. I've also had really good luck with the Dr. Earth, the organic and natural. So when we're getting, we're between 1/2 and 3/4 full on this bed, I'll do a nice heavy layer. I'll finish it off. I'll do a layer on top. These birds are crazy. And then I'll cover it over with a mulch. But definitely revitalize your soil, and you've got to use fertilizers. Well, I don't have luck with birds and videos, do I? If you've watched some of my past. Something good for everybody to know too, Home Depot and Lowe's, go online and have it shipped to store. Their perlite's the same price as it was last year for the giant bags. When I talked to one of the people over at Home Depot, not as many people buy these giant bags like I do, and especially as time goes on, the economy hasn't been good for quite a while. People aren't spending this kind of money, and they're just buying the smaller bags. That's why they're not ordering them. Okay, and here's your finished product. Now I just topped with another one of my big pepper pots. So as I got up here close to the top, I put another layer of fertilizer on there, some more bone meal, and then threw another one of the big barrel pots on top just to let it sit. Now, I've still got well over a month probably before I go putting anything in here. So now it's time to, what I say, just let it marinate. We marinate our meat before we cook. We marinate our soil and let it get everything growing, all the good stuff moving in there undisturbed before it's time to put those valuable vegetables in here. I'm going to go ahead and put a blanket, because we're still getting really cold at night, a blanket of my pine shavings over. We'll leave it alone, and we'll be back here at the bed throughout the season. You'll see what it does. And that's all there is to it to fill in a raised bed. Plenty more videos on there. I've even got other videos from container gardening on here. Jump on, check them out, do your research, but it's really that easy. One thing before we go, I wanted to show you these big barrel containers that I keep talking about. I use these for my super hot peppers. I wanted to give you an idea of how big these things are. Look at this. This thing's giant. But yet I just put 10 of these inside that bed along with bags of compost and perlite. It shows you how big those tubs are. And this year we're going to show you how big you can make vegetables grow in those beds and create perfect soil year after year that'll feed you and your family. I hope you're liking these videos. If you're not, please stick with me. I'm trying to get better. But if you do, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'm going to keep putting out videos like this all season long. So stick with me, and remember, you don't have to be a prepper to be prepared, and your garden is your biggest first step to preparedness. We'll see you next time.